finishing this one up,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm having this one.
Ooh, caffeinated one. You live dangerously, sir.
And we're
I like the small ones because I don't always want to drink a big one, but they don't have caffeine free in the small one. So.
Oh, I see. Portion control. I get you. You know, we're live, by the way, folks, while we're
Yeah,
talking
we're
here about Coke products.
Oh, are we? All right, cool.
Maybe they'll endorse us. We've got welcome all, one and all, or at least one. We got Michael Dow in the chat. Welcome to the No Faces comic chat. We got Omega Comics here. We're starting to trickle in here. Welcome to the tricklers. And we are tonight. We are. Who wants to say it? Now I know one of you had to have liked this one tonight. Anybody? Anybody like our name tonight?
I did.
All right, go ahead.
I don't have any idea what it was.
DS just woke up. Go ahead, Roger.
The good grade gorillas.
Yeah.
The triple G's.
The good grade gorillas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Whatever.
What do you want, man? All
right.
What kind of alliteration? That was a three-way alliteration. Come on.
I'm just saying. I think the topics and the titles and the names that Bubba's been picking have been a little selfish lately because good grade gorillas. He's got like 110 gorilla covers and 0. So I don't know if this is some passive aggressive thing going on with me or what, but it's fine.
Well,
I'm shocked, DS, that you're saying that our beloved Bub gets indulgent from time to time. I am absolutely appalled and shocked that you think that.
I'm probably wrong. I'll let it go for a couple more weeks. But if we have next week is the the Bud Root Superstars, that's it.
The Bud Root Superstars.
We've just picked the name of our chat for next week. It's the Bud Root Superstars.
Oh my! That came right from DS, and you can always say, "I came from your mouth, DS." It was not even mine.
I will have nothing to say then because I'm the one who came up with the name, so I'll be stuck with it. And I will still be here. I will never leave you guys, no matter how bad the name gets. I will always be here for you. So.
Well, I appreciate that because I was just about to say, if you quit, you're fired.
Oh my!
You can't quit or you get fired.
Yeah,
we got Michael Dodd in the chat. We got Omega Comics. We got Area 51 Mike. Hello. We got good fine people from Werewolf by Lunchtime from the great state of Perth in Australia. And that's, by the way, how you pronounce it, Roger. Australia. Mm-hmm. We got Metarog in the chat. We got the Comic Collector. Let's see. We got everybody. Metarog again. He's still in there.
He's like one of that uncle that you can't get rid of after the holidays. You know, that's Metarog. That's just constantly nagging, constantly hanging on, latching on like a parasite, like a leech on a fish. It's amazing.
Yep, it's like that guy that says, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "I'm going to the grocery store." He's like, "Cool." I'm like, "Wait a minute. Do you want to go with me to the grocery store?" "Yeah, man, sounds like fun." "Oh no, this is not going to go well."
That's a bad omen right there. Right there.
Yeah. And as always, the bottom spot in your screen tonight is reserved for the person who shows up last to the chat. So welcome, DS, to the bottom slot again. We missed you.
Well, thank you. I like it down here on the bottom. There's more room, and always good to be down here on the bottom. So, yeah. Monday is a great day for me because I don't have to work, and Mrs. DS does work, so I get a nice long afternoon nap. I love it. So,
yeah, that's what we were afraid of, that you were still napping while the show is about to start. That's why you're down here at the bottom.
I got up at like 6:45 today.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. Plenty of time.
That works. We got Pope Cerebus the First in the chat as swell. And as swell, yes.
As well.
He's here as well. That's what you get when you eat too much. And let's see. So tonight, first, we've thanked DS for being here. We've ragged on him for being late. But we got to thank Roger for being here. Thank you, Roger. He was the first in the chat. He beat me to it. So
yeah.
Good job.
I was raring to go today.
So glad to have you. Thanks for being here. And as always, and we will start off tonight's chat. We're talking about aminals, aren't we? Is that right?
Apparently, yes. I
animals.
hope so. Yes, I hope so.
So,
Yeah.
Besides the three of us, yes.
Besides the three of us, yes.
Yes,
Besides
that's right.
us three
That's
gorillas,
right.
or gorillas us three. How does that go? I don't know. But I wasn't quite sure what you guys would do with this topic. For instance, is this what we're talking about? Are we talking about, anthropomorphic or whatever Anna's last name is? Are we talking about those types of characters?
Anthropomorphic.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh boy.
Are we talking about those kinds of characters, or are we talking about like straight up animals, like, which typically even an animal in a book is going to have some kind of human traits. Very rarely are they just straight animals, right? So what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Which are we talking about, or are we just talking about all of it? Do we even need the clarification? Tell us. We must know.
Well, from my point of view, as a Golden Age collector, I'll tell you, I collect like these different genres. I collect sci-fi books. I collect pre-code horror, whatever you want to call it. But really, the overriding theme of my books is they're fantasy comics. They're not really. They're all like monsters and outer space. It's all sort of fantasy. So I don't have a lot that have actual monsters or actual animals. So, like Crack Comics I've got here, I consider this an animal cover in my collection because it's got a werewolf on it, but a very wolf-looking werewolf. Is that an animal? My collection it is. This shark looks, you can tell it's a shark, but not a very realistic one. This is probably the closest I have to a real animal. But, I've got stuff like this. This, for me, is an animal cover. It's got an ant on it. And, the ant has a giant man's head on it. That's an animal cover. Something like this also, for me, is an animal cover. It's got a spider on it. Now, the spider has a human skull, and it's enormous in size. But, yeah, so, comics is sort of like an escape from reality. Anything can happen in comics. And so if we're doing animal covers, I think, any animal or animal-like thing in a comic counts in the comic world as an animal cover or an animal in the comics. So that's my thoughts on it, coming from somebody. I don't have very many books that are like realistic, sort of. They're all sort of fantasy to some degree, the horror, the sci-fi. So, for me, when somebody says animal covers, this is the stuff that I think of out of my collection.
That's fair. I like that. I also like those covers.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's even if we disagreed with you, keep them coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because at that point you have to agree, because I don't want the cavalcade of creature covers to stop. So
yeah, well, I don't have any plans to stop, but I will say there is an animal that's prevalent on a lot of my books. It's a very small portion of a lot of covers, so it's not even the main character on the cover. So I didn't pull any of those out, but it's bats. I have so many covers that have bats on them flying in front of a full moon. That's an animal that's sort of just in the background because the fantasy nature of these comics that I collect, the real animal, the bat, is just in the background. So yeah,
and there have been times when I'd say sharks probably pretty popular. We got JD. He likes to collect elephants, right? Elephant covers.
Yep.
Right.
Elephant
Yeah.
Covers.
I like gorilla covers. Of course, to say that I like gorilla covers really isn't fair, because for a time they knew that everyone liked gorilla covers, and they just put a gorilla on everything. Like every cover and every genre across the board, they just threw a gorilla on it. Didn't matter what it was.
Oh, gorillas were popular in the Golden Age on comic covers, and it bled into the Silver Age too. But the reason for that, I think, is something I talk about quite often when I'm talking about different eras of comics. Is what grabs the culture's curiosity and fascination is that edge of the frontier of knowledge. What's unknown, what's at cutting edge. And back then, jungle was one of those themes. It was like the Orient. There were places on Earth that were still mysterious and fascinating. We didn't know a lot about them. And gorillas come. They're a monstrous animal coming from the jungle, and we didn't know a lot about them. Not many people, there wasn't a lot of documentaries about that stuff. So, lions, safari type animals, jungle animals, those things were fascinating and scary and mysterious at that time. And they captured the fascination of the culture. And so they appear on a lot of comic books. That's my thoughts on why there's so many gorillas. And I know a lot of people hate gorilla covers, and a lot of people really dig them.
Who hates gorilla covers?
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of them are real cool, but there's some people that are like, oh, not another gorilla cover. I hate gorilla covers. They're cool. They certainly have their place, and it's going back to King Kong. It's one of the greatest animal creature monsters in pop culture ever in America. So I dig them.
I got nothing against a good gorilla, but I have something against gorilla haters. I don't think that's nice. That's all.
Not nice. Yeah, I read an article some time ago, and I don't remember all the specifics, DS, but I think it was in DC. I don't know if it was Julia Schwartz, found that if there was a gorilla on a cover on any given month, that it would sell like 25% or 30% more than a cover that did not have a gorilla. So that's why you saw so many gorillas on, there were like Strange Adventures, Secret Society Supervillains, Justice League of America, From Beyond the Unknown, all those Silver Age titles that had anthologies or had any kind of villain that was that had a gorilla motif, they would appear on the cover, because even if they were only a minute character inside, it sold more probably because of the reasons you said, the fascination with the gorilla and the similarities to humans, etc.
Yeah, and there's a lot of even like, one of the titles I think has, it would be interesting to do a study and find out which titles or publishers over which years used the most appearance of gorillas. But I'll bet you Superman is up there, because there are a ton of Superman books featuring gorilla, and they even have Titano, the super ape, as a villain character. But there's a bunch of
Beppo the super monkey.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So who is that, Roger?
Beppo the super monkey.
That one I don't know.
Yeah, he was one of the League of Super Pets, along with the horse, the cat, Streaky the cat, and Crypto the dog. I forgot what the horse.
You just opened up a can of worms, Roger, because by next week, Bub will have half of that run completed.
I'm sure somebody in the chat will let us know what the name of the horse was, but I forgot the name of the horse.
Yeah, and there's some good gorillas here in the chat. Bigglesworth says Magilla Gorilla. I know that's a cartoon.
Magilla.
I don't know if that's a comic.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Gorilla.
That counts. And then Michael Dodd is mentioning Conga. That's a cool one, too.
Here you go, Bub.
Yeah.
Pope Cerebus says Justice League Dark number 15, Beppo.
That's terrible.
See, I know him from the Silver Age, but yeah.
And we've got, by the way, we also have Bigglesworth in the chat. We got Comic Geek McD showed up. We got the boy who had 7. C. Woodard's here. C. Woodard, stick around at the top of the hour. You are No Faces. The Why No Faces segment features C. Woodard today. So
can't wait for that.
Look forward to that. And we got Double S in the house. So glad you all, if I miss you, sorry, there's a lot. Glad you all could make it. We're talking about animals today, and apparently all their forms. So, which is good. Killer Croc. Boy, that's a good one. I love Killer Croc. So, and Magilla Gorilla for sure. And what about dinosaurs? Is that an animal? I think
that counts.
Yeah. There are bones that have evidence that they existed, so I'd say so. Yeah.
I think that's a win.
Although that devil dinosaur is, again, kind of a, it's kind of like a more, shall we say, humanized dinosaur. He was highly intelligent.
Yes. I believe the term you're searching for is polyformic. Is that right?
I have no idea what that means.
Astropropholic Mormon. Yeah,
Astropropholic that's not in my lexicon. So,
okay.
That's all right. A lot to.
Yeah, I do really like anthropomorphic animal.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think that totally counts in comics because, all the animals pretty much that appear have some anthropomorphism to them because they have to speak and interact with the human characters and the heroes and the villains. So, but yeah, dinosaurs definitely count. That's another big one too. There's a lot of dinosaur covers.
Oh,
I love dinosaur covers. I'd say probably my two favorite covers to collect would be gorillas and dinosaurs. The fact that there's often just a beautiful woman sprawled out in front of them, that is mere coincidence.
Right,
That's
sure.
just mere coincidence.
That's a tertiary issue on the cover, I'm sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's a tertiary issue.
Boy. Tertiary
And then we have, of course, we got some man-bat action there. Some man-bat action. And we got, let's see. Oh, I like big cats too. And I cannot lie. Look at that. I love a nice cold cat.
Yeah,
coming at you.
A Sir Mix-a-Lot reference here. Okay. Here, you want a cat? There you go. There's a cat.
I just sold my copy of that, Bub.
There's a nice buckler.
You stole it?
Yeah, I sold it. I shipped it out today.
Oh, wow.
You're a heartbreaker, DS. I mean, I don't know how you can get rid of these things. I couldn't.
Well, only way to get new stuff is to sell old stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess you have a.
I like that cat, Roger. That's pretty cool.
That's a Rich Buckler cover there, and that pouncing looks like a spotted leopard. I'm thinking, and of course that's the first appearance of Killmonger, who was the villain in the first the only Black Panther movie at this point, I guess. But although he was quite different there than in this comic, but that's another issue.
I like it. That is really cool. We got Silver Age Dave. We got
Silver Age
Bad
Dave's
Dad. 320.
Rod the Rican is in here.
Man, guys are really blessing us here.
Yeah, Matt, the boy who had 7, is in here.
Yeah, he ought to be paying attention to Monday Night Football right now because he's currently getting finally dethroned in week 3. He ran the table week 1 and 2 with the best picks in our NFL Comics picks pool. He is killing us. Week 1 was the best we've had so far, and he was killing us week 2. And finally, week 3, I think someone may have got the edge on him. He's not far off pace, but man, at least he won't be at the top this week. It's close, though. There you go.
Oh, hey, so Michael Dodd is throwing out here one of my absolute favorite dinosaur titles is the Star Spangled War Stories.
Yeah.
That is such a cool title. So if anybody's not familiar with that, check it out.
I got one here. Hold on.
I don't have any of those.
I got one handy.
I've had some before, and I'm familiar with them for quite a while now. But they are really they're all war stories involving dinosaurs. They're really cool stuff.
Somebody in the chat will recognize this. Let's see if he does, because I got it as a quasi prize winning, and it has a date stamp.
Ooh.
Right there, and it is a yellow cover. So this has essentially everything that I'm looking for in a comic. All right, it's a 10-center. It is a yellow cover with a dinosaur, not anthropomorphic, but certainly out of time.
Yeah,
and he's heaving up a tank, as you can see, and it has a date stamp. Talk about perfection.
And it's isn't that a 10-cent Silver Age, which is a rare animal indeed?
That's correct. Look at that.
Too many 10-cent Silver Age books.
Let's see if he's in here and if he remembers. Well, he hasn't said anything, but he did say something. Let's see. So, yeah, that and DS, that was another one that I think the title was kind of waning just as a war title. So I forgot who. I read an article about this 10, 12 years ago, and I forgot who it was. Said, hey, let's throw dinosaurs into the equation, and it just blew up.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, you just scrap the whole title or, keep up with changing times, and they did a good job keeping up with changing times.
Yeah, they did.
There's other war titles that, like Weird War Stories is another one where they still have war comics going forward, but they always have, not always, but often have that added element of fantasy along with them to keep them fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's right. And that's it. They have to keep pushing the envelope a little bit. Things get stale if you do the same things over and over and over and over. So, I give them credit for that. The editorial staff, they didn't stay pat, with just selling 300,000. They wanted, more. So back then that wasn't a lot of comics back then, by the way.
That's the same reason I'm always selling books. Keeps my collection fresh. I always have new stuff.
Man.
Okay, touche.
When I saw that Silver Surfer that you sold with that amazing date stamp on it, that was breaking my heart. I was like, oh man, I love that book.
Yeah, I mean, I got that to sort of. I had some plans. Sometimes I buy books with plans in mind. I like to put little sets together or get stuff slabbed, and it doesn't always work out. So I'm not just going to hold on to it and be stubborn. I'll just move it and move along. And it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But that was the coolest. I couldn't pass it up when I saw it. It had the coolest date stamp ever. And
yeah.
I bought it. I was trying to put together some Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four stuff, and I got sidetracked, and I sort of got off it, and those were left over from sort of that little brainstorm I had in the middle of the night one week. And so, yeah, somebody got – I don't remember who bought it in that auction I did. But, yeah, coolest date stamp I ever seen was on that one.
That is very cool.
Well, to give out – to stop the suspense, because he might not remember, Area 51 – I think it was his 1,000 subscriber giveaway. He actually gave away a prize to everybody that entered his contest. And I may be misremembering the milestone, but I definitely remember that he gave away, that Dave and Judy gave him comics to give away to everybody who entered. And it must have been a good 20, 30 people. So shout out to Area 51 for being just an amazing and generous YouTuber there.
Wow. That's awesome. Thanks, Mike. You're one of the best.
Yeah,
if
definitely.
Definitely. There's so many good ones right now. I really am enjoying everyone's
750.
content.
Okay.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Wow.
There's Alien Worlds. We're talking about dinosaurs. That's one of my favorite. William Stout, dinosaur artist. I think he is just absolutely fantastic. And I think he's in the chat. Yep, there he is. So Ranger Sly actually turned me on to William Stout, because I think I had shown this very book, and I said I didn't know who the artist was. I knew it said Will Stout on the bottom, but it didn't mean anything to me. And he said he's one of the premier dinosaur artists. And I said, well, I'm gonna have to look him up, and I did. And ever since then, I've got quite a lot of Stout work in my collection now.
And
so
you
thanks, Sly, for that.
Are you working on a run of Alien Worlds? Because that has some Dave Stevens art in it too, I think.
Yep.
And that's not a super long title. You can, and they're cheap. You could fill a run out of that book.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got. Let's see.
I like encouraging you to spend money. I haven't been doing that lately, so you need to go for that Alien Worlds run.
Yeah. Well, I do. So here's number 1. This was kind of a one shot. This one that I was already showing.
Yeah.
There's number 1. That's, I think, a Chiodo cover, if I'm not mistaken. There's number 2, the Dave Stevens cover.
Definitely Stevens there, yeah.
Yep. And here's another Dave Stevens. I'm missing number 3. So here's number 4.
No,
Dave Stevens cover.
It reminds me of Frazetta.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. That looks like a Frazetta pose to me all day long. Yeah.
It's a Frazetta pose, but that's not a Frazetta butt, because Frazetta like to make his women a little heavier from the waist to the thigh there. He liked a lot of extra width there. I think.
We call those Rubenesque women, Bub.
That'll work. Here's number 5, John Bolton cover. I love Bolton.
Oh, I've never seen that one before.
And I got to meet John Bolton. He's absolutely awesome. And if I get to meet him again, I have him sign this book. Here is I think it's Frank Bruner cover, number 6.
Yep, that's his signature down there. I recognize it. Yep.
And
that is really in your face.
We won't have that one too long.
Yeah, let's keep going. Family show here.
Yeah. There's number 7. I don't know who drew that. I really don't know. I mean, I can look it up, but I don't know. It doesn't strike me as anyone's style in particular, so I don't know.
Hard to tell from the pose too.
It is, and this will be a quick show and pull back. So there's 3D Alien Worlds when they did a 3D one shot. So
looks like a Forbidden Planet rocket down there too.
Yeah, pretty awesome. I love the little guys down there in the bottom. Like they're like running around like crazy. I love it.
Yeah. Imagine if you saw that coming out of your rocket.
Yep.
I wonder. Yeah, I got a feeling there's more symbolism there than perhaps we see at first glance, shall we say?
Now, it's just don't keep glancing, Roger.
Well, I didn't say. I said I said as a totality, not me personally, right?
Yes, of course.
I'm like the watcher. I just observe and not participate. That's.
Well, rockets on comic books in the Golden Age, especially, were they had two main purposes: getting guys out into planets where they could have a fantastic comic adventure, or as phallic symbols on the cover.
Yeah, and the Wonder Woman from the even from the Bronze Age had a lot of those. So.
Yeah, I think Planet Comics has quite a few phallic sort of rocket cover art too.
Yeah,
man, there's one in particular that I just can't pull a trigger on because it's so bad. I mean, it's so obvious, and if it isn't, then I just have a twisted mind, I reckon. But it's so close.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, it comes up for sale often.
It's like one of the 60s, like 62 or 64 or something, right?
Yeah, mostly like pinkish hue colored, and it's just bad.
Here's a nice Gil Kane. Looks kind of like a Tyrannosaurus mouth there, and I don't know how Black Panther has enough strength to hold open that jaw, though. That doesn't seem realistic to me, but oh well. Not every day's a Sunday, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I like that cover.
But yeah, a nice yellow background. You know, I'm a fanatic for those yellow covers. So,
I love yellow backgrounds,
You know, they just accentuate the foreground art so much that there's just something pleasing about it to the eye. But you know, Gil Kane, you can always tell a Gil Kane reptile because he always has these kind of like almost like semicircular nodes on all his reptiles. I look here on the eye, on the jawline, and even on the neck down here on the scales. It's really, really kind of his thing.
That's nice. I like that. You know, Black Panther looks kind of like Blue Panther there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the way it was inked, or if, you know, sometimes when they do covers at the end of the run, the ink is kind of running low. I'm not really sure what happened there, but you're right. That definitely looks like Blue Panther, not black.
Yeah. I like it, though. I got nothing against it. When I was a kid, I thought Wolverine's hair was blue. I thought Superman's hair was blue, you know, because they put all that blue edging on the black.
Yeah.
So, highlight. So I thought their hair was blue when I was a kid. But, you know.
No, Doug, I don't have any Turok from the Dells. I might have one or two, but it's in my miscellaneous bin. I'd never find it in time. Sorry.
Hey, we got Mr. Gretzky in the house, 9966. Welcome. Is there anyone that I've missed since last? I think we've got everybody. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about aminals and animals. There you go. DS had mentioned some bats, so I thought I'd throw up some bats. I think this is the most bats that I have on any cover.
I didn't know you had that book.
Oh, yeah. Cleaned and pressed by yours truly. I stole that book for like $5. It was a piece. It was a rag. It was curled in every corner. It was just, you can still see the spine takes. The color breaking ones, you know?
Yeah, but the thing about that book is there's, you know, second and third prints out there, and it's sometimes hard to identify, and it's hard to find a good first print. And you got a nice newsstand first print there, so that's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
Is that
that's the hardest.
Kelly Jones, or is that McFarlane? Who's
McFarlane? Yeah, he wrote his name inside of a bat. It's pretty cool. I like that.
I see. It's hard. It's hard for me to see with the little window. And
I know
old
when
eyes,
it's just us.
you know. My old eyes, you know. I need. Talk to Silver Age Dave. Us older guys, we need larger pictures and print, you know, to be able to see things right. You know, vision goes downhill after 50 years of reading. You know, it just does.
Yeah, there's another little set you could go after there, Bub. You could go after McFarlane Batman covers. There's only like 5 of them.
Oh yeah, go back to that side to side one. That works. Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Yeah, there's only like 5 McFarlane Batman covers, and you've got one of them.
Yeah, I think
That's
I have
cool.
one of those too.
Yeah, it's a small set that I used to have them, but I've sold them off years ago. But it's nice to have the full set of all the McFarlane Batman covers, and there's only a few of them. He did 2 of them in that year 1 run, I think, in Detective Comics.
I think it was year 2.
Was it year 2?
Year 2. I think Miller did the year 1 ones. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's not that one; it's the other one, and he did the second. He did the last 2 of those 4 in that story arc, and he did a Spawn versus Batman one-shot from the early 90s.
Cool. Well, maybe that's a short run. I should be able to collect all those for a nice set, 4.
Yeah, I think maybe there's 4.
That'd be cool to have as a set.
We've got apparently the animals are attracting others because we've got yeah, listen to this. We got Mike in here from Knights of Old, your buddy on the Golden Guys. We got Russ here. How you doing? My friend from North Carolina who's looking for a lady. And we got Jason from Heroes to Icon, and we got Night Tiger, Mike, my buddy from Ocala. So they're coming, guys. They want to see animals. So I put this out. I'm not a dinosaur expert. I don't know if this is a pterodactyl or a pterodon, but it's a flying mammal. Let's put it that way. Another Gil Kane cover. Throw in Black Panther right onto some very spiny looking, I don't know what that is. I guess vines. So anyway.
Yeah, it's purple there.
Really cool cover.
Purple Panther.
Purple Panther, yeah. You're right. Like coloring is funky. I never noticed that before, but it is a little funky on the Black Panther. And here's another dino by Gil Kane. I think that's the same dino that we saw before, just a little longer shot. But look over here, this guy over here. Look like a snake head over that pillar.
That's not going to end well.
No, that's not going to. No, it didn't. It didn't end well at all. Let's put it that way. But I love the animal covers. I was, at least when I was a kid, that would really attract me. So they knew what they were doing. They knew how to attract kids. We had in the 70s, you had those. You had these stickers that you would, and these binders, and then it had a bunch of the animals, depending on Australian animals, African, South American, etc. And we would, at school, we would kill each other to try to find, if you found a Tasmanian devil, nobody ever found a Tasmanian devil on those. I forgot what they were called, but those stickers. You couldn't find a Tasmanian devil. You couldn't find a sloth. And you could never find a jaguar for something. You just couldn't. They were just like short printed or something. So you always had 3 holes in your collection.
Cool.
But it kept you buying packs. And that's the same thing. It kept you buying comics.
Make you go crazy doing that.
Well, what do you think I am the way I am? That it lingers. That has effects.
We'll just agree on competing theories. Knights of Old wanted to see some Muppet babies. So I thought I'd do them a favor here.
Okay. All right.
And here's, I guess because these are animals in comics, right? And he was talking about animal. Of course, if you're the adult animal, right, you go, woman, woman, woman. And if you're the baby animal, you go, woman, or something like that.
Wow.
And I know, you're welcome.
Yeah, I tell you, was your son into that show, or is
Muppet
that
Babies?
Yeah.
That's around when I was a kid. I remember Muppet Babies.
I never saw it.
I don't know if I was too young to watch it or too old to watch it, but I watched it.
I admire your bravery for admitting to that.
Oh yeah, why not? It's good stuff. Here's some more animals when animals attack or get attacked.
Oh man, let's yeah.
That's good stuff.
Attacked is one way. There's a certain type of attack I would call that, but I won't.
He's just making sure the safety seal hasn't been broken.
Yeah, I don't know how that got out. I really, to this day, I'm still mesmerized about.
Doesn't he eat cats? Doesn't he eat cats?
Yeah, he eats cats and loves them.
Yeah.
He's nothing but an animal abuser through and through. Then
through and through, yeah. I mean that would, he would be, nowadays that would never fly. It would never fly. There's a guy who shot here in Mississippi. He shot out of season something. I forgot what it was, a deer or whatever. He got like 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
You know, come on. I mean, a guy got murdered the other day, and he only got 2 because it was, extenuating circumstances. But still, it's amazing. It's amazing.
That's wild. Andy Panda, I like that one. There's a little yellow background. You like that ketchup and mustard? You like that? The one they do the yellow words or the red words over the yellow.
Oh, that's one of those bonnet books.
Yeah, this one's a bonnet stamp book. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I like the red over the yellow.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, let's see what else
we got. Let's see.
Here.
Yeah, pull something out there, Roger. Be careful.
Oh, here we go.
Don't hurt your back.
Yeah. Saber-tooth tiger. How's that? Saber-tooth tiger.
Oh yeah, that's a win.
There you go. Another Gil Kane. I think was it Ranger Sly said Gil Kane he's everywhere on Marvel covers in the Bronze Age. It's like every other one is a Gil Kane cover.
Yes, I like the Gil Kane covers. And when I was selling books, I had a comic shop near me that really didn't know anything about comics. So when I, as it turned out, so they knew how to look up the value of a comic, but they didn't really know why it was valuable. So when I would sell them books, I would take Post-it notes on the back and write why this book was important to me or why it meant something. So one of my favorite things to write on a book was Gil Kane cover. I burned that up, man. I can't tell you how many times. I should have had a stamp that said Gil Kane cover, and I could put it on all the back of those books because I sold a ton of Gil Kane books.
Oh yeah. He was very prolific in the Bronze Age. Here's a Bruner cover actually on Khazar, which I think this is one of his few ones.
Bruner makes an appearance twice tonight. Look at that.
Yeah,
coming out strong, isn't he?
Yeah.
I like that. The Khazar books are really good, and the Commandy books. I tell you, a Golden Age title I never did care for, which is a shame because it's in my wheelhouse of jungle covers. And then it's also in my wheelhouse of Fiction House, which I like, the publisher, Fiction House. But I never liked Wamby. Wamby the Jungle Boy.
Yep, I remember. Yep.
Never cared for him. I just thought the story stunk, and the art might be okay, but I just wasn't a Wamby.
Yeah, I think
Wamby fan.
Wamby was more of a juvenile sort of written book than some of the other jungle titles from back then. Some of them were really violent and scary and adult sort of oriented stories and action in there. And then Wamby was not so much. It's sort of like BUB'S Riders is another one that has cool stories, but it's geared toward a younger crowd back then.
Barbecue Riders, yeah.
But
they have the funny animal stuff.
Villains and criminals and Grim Reaper type stuff, but it's done in sort of a playful way. It's more of a childish sort of storytelling, sort of like most of the Superman books in the Golden Age, really. But
good point. Point.
The real early Superman stuff. I think it picked up to become a more adult title later on.
They tried. They still had a lot of silly stuff going on, but it was more. It got more. Yeah, the themes were more adult oriented, but a lot of silly stuff happened inside.
Yeah, Wamby was like almost identical to what is it, the Jungle Boy, or what's it? Is that what it's called?
Jungle Book, like Mowgli, the Jungle
Book by Jungle Book, yeah.
Yeah, Jungle Book. Yeah.
Rudyard Kipling, yeah.
Mowgli.
Yeah, I always just associated Wamby with that.
Yeah. It might have been kind of a ripoff. I've never read it, but it kind of looks from the cover like it may be.
I've never bought any direct Wamby books. I have some Jungle comics, and the anthology type books. You'll get some Wambys in there from time to time. This one has a Wamby appearance in it. Jungle Comics number 102, if my homemade label works.
Well, if you want the best Golden Age jungle stuff, Fiction House is definitely where to go for sure.
Look at that! Hey, this is one of my. I know Area 51 likes these homemade slabs. He's got several of them himself. Still working on my project on this. Website is still under construction. So,
cool. Well, let me read a little bit of the chat here because they got some good ideas here. Night Tiger says, "Are Planet of the Apes counted?" Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think so,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would say so. Khazar was full of, or Khazar was full of dinos. Yeah, I just showed some. Gretzky says Crypto the Superdog is on Action 287. Yep, that's right. We talked about the what is the name of the super horse? Anybody remember what the name of the super horse? It's killing me now.
Oh, I don't know. I had a couple of those.
Was it a DC, like a Superman's horse kind of thing?
Yeah, it's like a Silver Age.
Yeah, I think it was Supergirl's horse.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, I had one with I had the best cover of that horse at one point too, and I can't remember the name of it.
Aardvarks, turtles, and rabbits. Oh my, says Pope Cerebus the First. Yep, we had Cerebus, of course. Cerebus the Aardvark, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and of course we had what is the new one now? The rabbit, the violent rabbit thing. Stabbity Bunny.
Oh.
Stabbity Bunny.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, Rangersley got it. It's Comet.
Comet. That's it. Comet. Thank you. I knew it was either Michael Dodd or Ranger Sly would come up with that because those two guys know their stuff. I knew they would come up with it.
Yeah, Seaward, Bigglesworth, Rangersley.
And Bigglesworth, Doug, you're hot, Doug. You're good. Streaky was the cat. Yeah, Streaky was the cat. That's right.
Wow, you guys really
Seawood got it. Yeah, these guys.
Yeah, and Michael Dodd got it. I think Seawood, according to the numbers, was first in there, but I'm sure they were all typing at the same time. They all come in within a minute of each other.
I'm putting a star right next to your comment. Boom, there you go. Now it's on my phone, so you can't see it, but it's on there. So, thank you guys. I knew you guys would come through. Howard the Duck, yeah, that's another good one. Very anthropomorphic as far as that goes. He smoked. He was, shall we say, had somewhat saltier language. Very interesting character.
Yeah, I like me some Howard the Duck. The stories are a little bit hard to read. They really get out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm a Gerber fan. I'm a Steve Gerber fan, but I agree. They have a lot of his ideas. The way he, how do I put this in a way that doesn't seem like I'm dragging him down? He puts his ideas in such a vague form, but it's cool, but it's vague. It's not. It's a thinking. You have to think, and then you have to know who he is to sort of figure out what he's saying. But it's political, it's social, commentary. But I thought it was cool in the end. But it is not the easiest read, that's for sure. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Here's DS is showing Comet, the super horse.
There we go.
Very nice.
Yeah, cool.
You, good sir.
Pink cover and like this green ray coming out of the horse's head towards a spaceship, and she's.
Oh, I didn't know what that was. I thought they had strung a carrot to a stick.
No,
to make the horse go.
No, he had superpowers.
It's a laser beam from its head or something, and it's attacking like a spaceship thing. But this is the secret origin of that horse in this issue. This is the one I had. I had a high grade copy of this. Yeah, it was like 7.5, not super high grade, but a few years back. But yeah, some of these Silver Age action comics have some really, really good art. So does the adventure comics from that era. The stories are sort of trippy too, but they're really, really interesting, quality, skilled art on the covers and inside on these Silver Age action comics. And this one in particular, I like to have this one.
Yeah, that looks like Kurt Swan. Looks like Kurt Swan to me, based on the shape of Superman there.
Yeah, I think it probably definitely is Kurt Swan.
Yeah. Some more people are coming in here. Usagi Yojimbo, that's another rabbit character. Yeah, it was okay. Thank you, Ranger Sly. It was Supergirl's horse. Count Duckula. Is that from the cereal? No. What's Count Duckula? It's not.
I don't know.
It's not ringing a bell. I mean, it does ring a bell, but I don't know from what. That must be from Darkwing Duck or something. I bet.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, right. I think so. Anybody talk about Detective Chimp? No, we have not. That's a good one. Detective Chimp, character, that DC character from, I believe he appeared in Detective Comics quite a few times. Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew. Yeah, that's another rabbit, Captain Carrot. Animal Man. Well, Animal Man is kind of different. He was a man who had animal powers. He wasn't an animal, right? I mean, other than human. Yeah. So I don't know if we could. Gorilla Grodd and Ultra Humanite. Again, those I had Gorilla Grodd here previously, and Ultra Humanite is another kind of anthropomorphic ape. Fish Police. Wow.
I don't know the Fish Police.
Yeah, that's independent. Yeah.
I wasn't too familiar. Well, I wasn't familiar at all with Fish Police until about a year ago. I went to a local antique shop, and they had a vendor who had a whole bookcase of raw comics stacked in there. On every shelf, it was a 5-shelf bookcase, and it had raw comics stacked in every shelf from one end to the other. And I sat there one day for like 2 or 3 hours. I went through every single book in there, and there was nothing great, but he had almost a complete run of Fish Police in there. And I spent like 30 minutes just reading through random Fish Police issues. I had never heard of it before. It's just one of those kooky 80s independent titles. And it has some interesting art, especially on the cover. And, you know, it didn't grab me. I looked up the values, and they weren't real valuable or anything. But, yeah, Knights of Old did a little hangout a week or two ago on this channel. And I watched the replay, and he was just bagging and boarding old comics, and he came across a Fish Police in his collection.
Oh,
and,
cool.
Yeah, not something you ever see. You never see Fish Police. That's the only time I'd ever seen one aside from that.
Yeah, it was very popular though in the 80s when that first came out. I remember it. I never actually. I had maybe 1 or 2 issues, but it was a popular back in the 80s.
Snarf?
Duck.
Yeah, it's Snarf.
Snarf. Oh, Mastodon's in here. Hey, Don, look, I got a Mastodon on here for you, right there. I think that's a Mastodon. I'm not. Like I said, I'm not an expert on ancient creatures, but I think that's a mastodon. I don't think that's a woolly mammoth. It doesn't look woolly to me.
Hey, he's got a little hair on the top.
He's got a little hair, but that could be like, you know, a little fuzz, you know. That's like me after not shaving for a day. Lancelot.
You know, there's a whole branch of I don't want to call it science, but I don't want to call it pseudoscience. It's I'm not sure what you would call it. You guys can categorize it. But cryptozoology is the study of mythical and imaginary creatures, and I think a lot of the stuff in comic books falls under like cryptozoology. So I'm not sure if that's, you know, there may be a whole discipline dedicated to the study of this stuff that we're covering tonight. I don't know.
Probably is. I bet you there is.
Well, there will be after we're done with it.
Yeah, we're starting a trend. We're trendsetters. We're trailblazers to the end. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, Count Duckula was actually Daffy Duck. Oh, okay. Count Duckula was actually Daffy Duck. Okay, good.
What about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Do they count as animals? I mean, they're turtles.
Yeah,
right?
Somebody said them from before. They absolutely do. Those.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, they're turtles. They eat pizza and they walk on 2 feet, and they are ninjas. So.
Well, they're mutated turtles, according at least the way I recall the origin. They ooze or whatever came down and the sewer and mutated them.
Yeah, I've been thinking about going after a TMNT 1 just for the hell of it. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on it, but
I actually had a chance to buy that off the rack, and I don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah, well, you know,
that was
after it came off the rack, I spent a quarter on a Thor book instead of on that, and I could have had it for a quarter, so I've always had a regret.
Yeah,
and,
I tell you,
it's a historic issue that I remember that just being fascinated by the concept when I was a kid. But I don't know if I want to lay out that kind of cash for a TMNT 1. But
I don't know.
I would have ended up probably selling it for a profit at some point. But I don't know. I just find myself wanting to buy that freaking book.
It is cool. It is a cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And I recently had a TMNT 4 that I actually sold to Comic Books NYC. And when I was reading through that and looking through it, it's so oversized and such a weird size. And
it is, yeah. It is.
Yeah, it's just so cool. And it's just like, man, maybe I will buy a TMNT. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I had 2 through 4 for many years, and I sold it because I forgot why I needed something, books or register for a class or something. Let's see what else. Bucky O'Hare. What was Bucky O'Hare? Was that a gopher?
I think that was Captain America's sidekick in the Golden Age.
Oh, that's Bucky Barnes.
I made you think about it, though.
Bucky O'Hare was he was a gopher, I think. Somebody correct me on that. The tiger guy from the Marvel family, that was Mr. Oh, what was his name? Mr. Tawny Talkie? Tawny Talkie? Was that right? Mr. Tawny Talkie?
I don't know that
I might be right there. Rocket Raccoon. Well, yeah, that's true. Fish Police. Beta Ray Bill.
Bigglesworth has to see. Bigglesworth has to see this Johnny Quest, Dave Stevens.
Oh yeah, that is a beautiful.
With Bandit on the cover. Great Bandit. That's all we're looking at here is Bandit.
That's all I'm looking at. That's correct.
That's all focused on.
I'm looking at because
Well, that's I'm gonna have to call BS on that. That is not an animal cover.
That's a band. That's a dog right there.
There's a dog right
That's
there.
the first time you ever even saw the dog on that cover when you've been looking at it. You just haven't the first time you haven't looked at the bottom 4 inches of that book for the whole time you've owned it.
In this entire run, DS, this is the only cover that features Bandit in the whole Johnny Quest run. Now that's a fact I just made up, but if someone's willing to go through the annals of Quest history, you may find that it's true or maybe not.
Well, Bigglesworth overruled me, so that's fine. What else is new? I'm always getting overruled. So.
Okay. Bucky O'Hare was a rabbit. That's true.
That Bandit cover is awesome. I love that Bandit cover. It's a really good Bandit cover there.
You know what? One of the reasons I really like this book is because I bought this book not knowing that it was a Dave Stevens cover. It was one of the first Dave Stevens in my collection, and I just bought it because when I saw it, I couldn't stop staring at it. And I said, that is just too awesome. I absolutely love it. I got to own it. I didn't have any other Johnny Quest books. And I was like, you know what? I just had to have it. And then later I was like, Dave Stevens. And so I started to learn more about him. I was like, I'm pretty sure I have some more of his stuff. And when I saw that this was one of it, I was like, oh, man, I've got that already. That's awesome. So
what's your favorite Dave Stevens cover, either overall or that you own? What's your favorite of all time Dave Stevens cover? Do you have one yet?
It's hard. One of my favorites that he's involved in, he's the inker, but Wally Wood was the penciler. So, like when I went to so this book here.
Oh yeah,
that's probably my favorite
World of Wood
Dave Stevens collaboration, if I'm allowed to say that. As opposed to a straight Dave Stevens cover. But if I had to take one book that he's worked on, this would be it because it's got the Wally Wood pencils and the Dave Stevens inks.
Yeah, there's some good. I like that one a lot. I think that's like a 4-issue miniseries, that World of Wood, and they're all.
Yeah, and then they put a 5th issue out like a year later.
Oh, yeah.
So there's actually it says 4 of 4, and then it'll say 5 after.
Like the Punisher miniseries too.
Oh, did they do that as well?
Well, it was the Punisher miniseries from the '80s had 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. Or 4 of 5, but they added a 5th one.
2 of 5, and then it went 3 of 4.
Yeah, so 4 or 5. They added one on after they started it, and they made it a 5-book miniseries. But Dave Stevens has some cool back cover pinups on some books too. You got to hunt for him though, because he doesn't do the cover art, but there's a back cover pinup by him, and those are worth getting and turning them around in your bag and board or your slab and showing the reverse of it, because the pinups on the back is Dave Stevens. But I can't remember off the top of my head which ones they are. But when you come across them, when you come across any of the weird like 80s stuff that you think it's a Dave Stevens type book that he might be involved in, look at the back covers and some of them have some Dave Stevens back cover pinups.
Yeah, somebody said Gorilla Man in the chat. There he is right there. And What If number 9.
One of my favorite Dave Stevens back covers is the first appearance of Rocketeer in Star Slayer number 2.
Yeah.
And
that's
I actually
pose.
I have 2 copies of this book. So the one that I put up for display, this is my display copy, and I have it displayed to the back cover.
Nice.
Do you have a Crossfire 12?
Nice.
Huh?
You have a Crossfire 12?
Crossfire 12. Which one is that?
It's the Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe lookalike
cover.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite Dave Stevens cover.
It's pretty tough. I like it.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. The Man-Thing killed a lot of gators in his run because they were constantly attacking people. Yes, in the swamp. Yes, that's right. That's why I put that up there. You don't see too many alligator covers, around. So
Yeah, and Silver Age Dave is saying he's asking if sea monkeys count. I loved this having sea monkeys when I was a kid. That little tank with the little bulb.
Yeah. Well, the ads were in almost most comics during the Bronze Age. That
I know, and you know what? Mrs. DS is completely unfamiliar with what sea monkeys were. I made a joke recently about, maybe we'll get sea monkeys for a pet. She's like, "What's a sea monkey? Are you making that up?" Let's see. And I'm like, she had no idea what sea monkeys were. She still doesn't. So I need to get sea monkeys so I can show her, because you can teach them to play baseball and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
It has a little thing you can train them to play baseball, and they're just brine shrimp, but it's really cool when you're a kid watching those things grow like that.
Here's that crossfire you were asking for.
Yeah, there it is.
Absolutely awesome. And Sly asked to see Airboy. Number 5.
Here's something nobody's mentioned yet.
I love that one. Oh yeah, nice one. I love Tigra, as I call her. I guess you're supposed to call her probably Tigra. I call her Tigra. That is awesome. I love that one.
And that's
sort of similar to the Wonder Woman villain. Who was the Wonder Woman?
Cheetah.
Yeah.
Cheetah. The Cheetah.
That book's really expensive too. That first appearance of Cheetah.
You mean the modern age Cheetah?
No, there's a Golden Age book, Wonder Woman, that has the first appearance of Cheetah in it.
Yeah. Well, they're both expensive, but obviously the Golden Age much more.
Yeah, but I mean, Cheetah has not been a super major villain character in comics. Maybe I'm just not a Wonder Woman fan enough, but it seems like that one should not be as expensive as it is, because Cheetah is not like a big name in comics, I think. But who knows?
Well, she was a recurring villain throughout the throughout the Bronze Age, certainly.
Was she?
Yeah.
Certainly. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about DC Bronze Age DC if it's not horror. So,
if you would say what's her main nemesis, I mean, there could be arguments there. I mean, a female nemesis, I would say, was probably Cheetah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. See, that shows how much I know. I don't know very much about Wonder Woman at all, except from what I saw in that documentary movie. Not a documentary. That movie that came out a year or two ago, based on the creator of Wonder Woman. That's pretty much where I know everything about Wonder Woman. So
yes, I do have a Giant-Sized Creatures #1, Michael Dodd. I have all the appearances of Tigra up through the Bronze Age, but I'm not going to dig it out because it's behind a bunch
I'll get mine if you want.
Now. Oh, please do.
Yeah, C. Woodard's saying Cheetah was announced for an upcoming movie.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So that makes sense.
Well, she. I saw her in something. Oh no, I guess I was reading the Rebirth, and she was in the Rebirth Wonder Woman stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Doing like DC stuff. I don't know very much about DC superhero stuff. I know some of the Golden Age like keys and stuff just because I'm a Golden Age collector. But when it comes to like DC Bronze horror, I really like. But DC superheroes, I don't know much about them, especially like in the Silver and then the Bronze Age. I did collect at one point a nice run of Silver Age Flash. That's really as far as I got into DC books after Silver Bronze Age stuff. So I'm not really well versed in DC stuff.
That's fair.
It's either misfiled. Is it not under Giant-Sized Creatures?
It should be under G for Giant Size. Yes. At least that's where I put it.
The other ones are filed under that, but that one isn't, and I know I own it.
See, for the audience, let me just point out to everyone, this is a problem I no longer struggle with my because if it's not in one box, it's in the other box. I don't have.
But it also continued into Giant-Sized Werewolf, so check there too.
I already checked there. I've got that.
You did check. Oh, okay, all right.
Because it's right. I have them. Boy, man, that's gonna make me mad.
Uh-oh. I see a meltdown coming here.
Around through his books to find it now.
Yeah, but there's no reason why it should be missing. I know I have that book.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen you have it. Yeah.
Oh well. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's all
Oh,
right.
that
That's all
drives me
right.
crazy.
We'll have it for you. We'll have
night.
it for you next time, Michael. Troublemaker.
Yeah, troublemaker.
Yeah, troublemaker. Just kidding. He's one of my absolute favorite guys here. He's so knowledgeable and always comes up with, always bails me out when I don't know something. So.
Well, yes, you know, another one is Sly. When Rager Sly comments on my videos, I almost always learn something. So I love when people comment on my videos and teach me stuff about my own collection. I think that's like, you know, golden knowledge to me.
Yeah. That's like free education right there. You know, that's what I consider it. I mean, it's great stuff. And
yeah, I think the best source for comic information is the YouTube community. It's better than any book you can get. You'd have to have hundreds and hundreds of books to equal even close to the knowledge that you can just get from the YouTube community. All you have to do is show a book on a video and people will tell you anything about it, know about it. And it's like, it's the greatest resource for comic knowledge is the YouTube community. More so than Instagram by far, or I'm not on Facebook, but you know, the books themselves or Wikipedia, man, it take hours and hours to research something where if you just bring it up on a YouTube community, somebody will know everything about it. And yes, the best resource ever I've found.
Yeah, I agree. And you can look up all kinds of topics too, and you can probably find it. You know, if you wanted to see a run of, you know, let's just say a random run, Kid Colt from the Silver Age, you could probably find it. Probably Alan Garrett video, half the comics. He has most every comic from the 50s up. So.
Yeah, and it's like a modern version of the Gerber guides where, you know, before the internet, I recently got Gerber guides from Knights of Old as an AOK, but you know, before the internet, you had to go to the Gerber guides to discover new Golden Age comics. Well, now I go to the YouTube community to discover new comics.
Pope is talking about Hit Monkey. I'm not familiar with that character, so I don't know if you guys.
He's a newer character.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know about Hit Monkey either.
Okay. I was going to say, I do know Destroyer Duck. I do know Destroyer Duck. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Howard the Duck.
Destroyer Duck, I believe, was a Kirby creation back in the maybe early 80s. Independent title, independent company.
Was he like a Punisher with a bunch of weapons? But
right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Howard would be a good one to spec on because they did a movie in the past, so they could easily reboot that and make a movie out of it. And you know, it can't be any worse than half of the other movies that are coming out.
I don't know that. Did you see the original?
I mean, I saw the one in the 80s.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time. But yeah, I mean, they could do an updated version of that, and it would be, you know, it could be a hit. And you know, first appearance of Howard the Duck is really not that expensive. I think it's like Fear 19 or something.
It is Fear 19. Yeah. You got it. Yeah.
Really not that pricey. That's it. You know, sort of a hidden little first appearance out there. Not hidden, but I mean, it's not worth much. I don't see anybody ever talking about it or picking it up or going after it. It's never on a want list or anything of anybody's. But you know, a cool first appearance. And I think
it actually is getting on want lists now because when I picked mine up for like a couple bucks at the shop when I was living in Florida last year. And now I see on eBay it's going all day long, $30, $40, $50. So
yeah, I mean, you definitely got a good deal. But even 30 or 40, I mean, somebody who gets in it now, you can pick up a nice VF minus copy of that for not much money, I think.
Yeah, but you're right. You got to pick it up now, and it's actually a kind of a cool issue because it actually transitions into Man Thing 1. The next issue is Man Thing 1.
Yeah.
So it actually has, it's a kind of a cool little transition to have Fear 19 and Man Thing 1 because that's his first and second appearance of Howard the Duck.
Man, it drives me crazy. I've been looking for this book this whole time. I just can't find it. So, well, it makes me want. I hope I didn't give it away or sell it. You know, sometimes you're
No, that's a
Going
Werewolf
to
by Night
Night.
appearance. You would not give that away. I know you.
I know, and
Yeah,
I just
it's somewhere.
where could
It's
it
somewhere.
be?
Which one is it, Bob?
Giant Size Creatures #1.
It's
I mean,
kind of a tough issue to store because do you put it under G or do you put it under C or do you put it under W for werewolf?
I have it in my CLZ app under G, so it should be there with the rest of the giant size. But man, it's gonna drive me crazy.
Mr. Unknown Comics guy is in the chat. Haven't seen him in a while. How you doing?
And I think Hialeah Comic Bros here too.
Hola,
So
Raúl, ¿cómo
welcome.
estamos, amigo? ¿Cómo se encuentra? ¿Cómo estaban las cosas ahí en Hialeah?
Yeah, Michael Dodd is saying Fear 19 is a $100 book in high grade. So I don't know if he's saying that it is pricier than I was saying or that he agrees with me, but I think $100 book in high grade for a first appearance in a Bronze Age, I think that's an affordable first appearance Bronze Age book.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, was that Bruner who did the art on that? I don't remember now. I remember it's a good issue. It's a good issue. I remember reading that and I'm thinking this is a quality issue.
Yeah, I like. I do like the cover on this one, even though it doesn't feature. You like to have your first appearance kind of feature the character if you can, or I do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I still like this cover anyway. So, you know.
Yeah, it's the rogue syndrome is what I call it. First appearance of the character and they're not on the cover. It's the rogue. It suffers from rogue syndrome. That book.
Avengers Annual 10 doesn't have her, and
And there's earlier ones, but that's the one I just consider a book has rogue syndrome if it's the first appearance and they're not on the cover, and it's sort of value.
Yeah.
Speaking of syndromes,
Hulk 180.
We would be remiss.
I'm sorry. Did that come out? I'm so sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. I apologize profusely.
So this one's for Roger.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So we hopefully see Woodard's still in the chat. Say hello if you're still here. But it's top of the hour. We missed it by about 7 minutes. Sorry, everybody. But it's time for the Why No Faces segment of the night. So what this is basically is that I want to show everybody why we don't show our faces. So these are the best examples. They're going to be freeze frames from other people's videos. If they were volunteer and are willing to participate, then we'll show a freeze frame of them from one of their video. And it's a condition that DS describes best. Take it away, DS.
Well, I consider this condition to be when somebody has used the substance called pause and they are now high on pause. Differently. No two people are affected by pause the same way, and you never know how it's going to affect you until you use it. But yeah, be careful out there, kids, and don't use and abuse pause because this is what happens.
I love that. And here we go. Now, I have to explain this. C. Woodard's face is so rubbery that I couldn't just choose one picture. So hopefully your screen's not too small to see all the glorious goodness that C. Woodard provided us. And this is all from one video, the same video within the span of maybe 20 minutes. He made all these faces.
Wow.
So good stuff. Wow. We got in the top left, we got him pointing at the screen and with his tongue half out. Then we got on the top right, we got his tongue fully out. Then we got in the middle left, I call it kind of the confused face.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That middle left is my favorite. Yeah.
To the right, looks like he fell asleep for a minute there. Started drooling. Bottom left, he really wants to convince you of something, but you don't want to buy it. And at the bottom right, I just call that euphoria. That's that comic euphoria he's gotten. He's just so happy to be here. So
yeah, and Area 51 sums it up perfectly when I think he's referring to looking at these pictures you've got up here that he says, I see the passion.
Perfect. Good
stuff. Thank you for being a good sport, C. Wood. This one, I knew this was going to be an easy one. So I thought I'd give myself a little bit of a challenge there and come up with a few instead of just one. And because, like myself, he has a very expressive face. you know, and it makes all kinds of motions. And one of the reasons why I did not show my face early on in videos was because of this, because I've seen my face in video and I know how pause affects me, and I was worried everyone would find out that I had it. So there you go. So thanks so much for participating. Thank you all for enjoying that. That's true.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. Hey, we got Aaron in the chat. Deadpool 2323.
Hey, I think I got this book from him. I think I bought this book off him, Fear 19. So,
oh yeah, cool.
I appreciate that. Yep.
Yeah, he's
pretty sure I did.
Incredible hunter. Let me tell you, if the man has like what is like like spider sense when something bad is going to happen. He has the same thing when a comic is within a 5-mile radius. He'll find it. It's like homes in on them.
Yeah, he's a good hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Need to get him back on the show. I know his schedule is wild right now, but whenever you're ready, we'll have you on here. Good stuff. So, what do you guys think? Are we done with the aminals? We've shown all kinds of stuff that weren't even animals. We got off, didn't we?
We got everything. We showed everything. We got bandits. We got body part, perhaps, that we tried to very awkwardly ignore.
Yes.
I think we did well, very well tonight.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think you guys did great, and you covered all the bases.
What do you mean, you guys? You were in it.
Yeah.
Animal comics anymore, I'd be right in there.
Hello.
Shark. There for a while, you had quite a few shark covers.
I still have some,
yeah,
I still got some, but I mean, well, I'm not just going to show sharks the whole time, so I try to mix it up, throw a werewolf in there too. But I'm more onto the robot covers than the shark covers if I'm going for like a theme right now. But yeah, I still like shark covers, but I'm down to some shark covers that are highest on my list are also the priciest. So, the prices slow you down when you're trying to pick up books on your want list, and you pick up some, and then the ones that are left for a specific theme are pricey. Now it's, you got to pick and choose. So yeah, I mean, I've been going with some sci-fi recently. I mean, Bub, I got that Planet Comics #1. That was a big idea.
I know.
And, I got the Starling 49 this year. I picked up a couple other Schomburg robots. I picked up some horror books, of course. So sharks are still on my list, but, it just depends on where the market's going. I try to avoid the super hot areas because I'm not trying to pay. I'm already overpaying for books. I'm not trying to pay for the hottest stuff out there. So.
Right. I understand that. And it's con season for you, isn't it? You're about to go over to what have you got coming up? We'll go ahead and go through that. What have you got coming up?
All right. Well, I'm going to Baltimore Comic Con, as are a lot of people. And it's like, 25 days away or 20 days away or something like that. And this is the point where I get in trouble because I build up a budget, and I'm very efficient in building up a budget ahead of time. I don't wait till the last minute. So I've got a budget right now. And now I have to just not buy stuff for like 3 weeks, and that's going to be impossible. So we'll see. But I'm going to Baltimore. I'm going to bring some books for the on-site grading, and I'll bring some slabs to sell or trade. And there's Comic Core setting up a booth. And there's going to be a lot of other people in the community there that I can hang out with and meet for the first time too. And so there's a lot more to Baltimore than just spending money on books. So even if I don't have even if I go there broke, it's still well worth it, especially since I live close. I don't have to get a hotel or travel. I just drive there each day and back. So,
cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I got my tickets printed out. I got everything ready to go. And, if Baltimore Comic Con was tomorrow, I'm set. I've got a full budget. I've got books ready to go. I've got everything ready. But now I got 3 weeks to go and try not to blow all my money. So
sit on your hands, deactivate your eBay account for a day or
25 days. I buy stuff on eBay almost every single day. And, there's a Comic Link auction going on right now with some stuff in it I like that ends, the items end this week. So who knows? I might buy something this week on Comic Link. But
cool. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good no matter whatever I pick up, whenever I pick it up, wherever I pick it up, just from the books and the collection standpoint, it's always worth it to me. But it's doubly fun to pick up a book at a con that I wanted. When you get the book, you still have the book, but picking it up off a Comic Link auction and then they ship it to you and you get it in the mail and you have it, it doesn't have the same fun factor as picking it up at the con. So, if a book I'm looking for comes up before the con, like that Starling 49, I'm not going to pass it up. I'll pick it up. But ideally, I would like to not see that until the con and be able to pick it up at the con. It's just always more fun to accentuate a trip like a con trip with a big pickup. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to go, or I was contemplating going. Had the math worked out, and then Daredevil 1 happened, and it ate my flight and hotel budget. So, and my wife asked me just today if I was still going to the con or not, and I was like, I don't think so. It's just at that point I would be going with almost no money because I'd have to spend a lot of money on airfare, and the airfare has gone up since then too. So, how it is. I'll try and make it next year. I'll say that every year until I go.
Well, I don't go to a lot of cons, as you know, but I went to Baltimore last year, and it was great. And I went to Heroes Con this year. You were there, Bub, and Heroes Con was phenomenally good. And so from last year, Baltimore's really good comic centered, and especially a lot of Golden Age stuff, a lot of big dealers. So it's really a good con to go to. And this is only the second time that I'm going to be going. So I don't have a lot of experience, but I went last year and it was awesome. And people told me it was awesome. So I'm expecting it to be awesome. So
cool. I'm looking forward to it too. I can't wait to see what everybody brings back. It'll be fun. And see all the fun times. I might try and go to C2E2 next year too. I know a lot of YouTubers go to that, so meet up with people there. Roger, what do you got coming up?
Well, I'm going on vacation on Thursday with my lovely wife.
Boo!
So
yay for you, but
yeah, yay for me, boo for her, right? Because she's gonna take 10 days with me. So I'll be doing the roundup on Wednesday, and then you won't be seeing me until I'll be missing next week's No Faces, but I'll make the next Monday. I'll be back that Sunday, so
okay.
I'll be out just 1 week with you guys.
Okay. Well, we will miss you for sure, and have a great time. Enjoy.
Oh, we will. I'll still miss you guys. I know on Monday I'll probably be like, oh, something's wrong here,
Yeah, Tuesday is when I feel it.
Yeah. I try to get on when we're on vacation, but she would let me. She wouldn't stop me, but you can see when you ask something and you get that look like, yeah,
it's a yes, but it's a no.
Yeah. You're like, you know what? Actually, no, I don't think I do want to do that.
Yeah.
You get that look. Yeah. That's what I get on vacation on Mondays if I'm out of town or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it.
So.
Yeah.
That's true. I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes just on the inhale before I ask, I already know.
Yeah.
Hey, honey. I'm gonna ask it because I started, but I wish I hadn't already.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll start to ask her something. I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you about something, and she'll be like, "Oh, is it a comic thing?" And I'll be like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Like, no, I've worked all day. I'm not up for a comic thing.
That's the question of death right there.
Yeah, that's like, it's like that has to be filtered through. If it's a comic question, yes or no. Yes, later. No, yeah, I have plenty of time to talk.
Oh man.
So, but she's very, and I spend money left and right, and I deal with comics, and I'm obsessed with it. She's very supportive, but she doesn't want to be sucked into it all the time. So when we're out of town, that's like a comic free zone.
That's fair. I was talking to Anthony Reaper Tate and telling him that when I go to before I met my wife, I didn't collect as an adult. So only until after we got married did I start collecting. So she kind of had to deal with this as opposed to knowing it going in. So, but she's very supportive, and the biggest difference to me is that I don't know what we used to talk about. Because that's where like 90% of our conversation is about comics and comic related things. So I don't know what I used to talk about before this, for years. Who knows what I said? Couldn't have been anything interesting.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you, Mrs. DS knows a lot about comics because sometimes I'll mention something and she'll retort with the issue number, or she'll know the character, or she'll know something about slabbing or CGC or grading. And then she immediately is disappointed in herself that she knows that. It's almost like a forced osmosis. You know what I mean? You throw enough stuff at it, some of it sink in involuntarily to her, and then she becomes very knowledgeable about some stuff.
Well, listen, guys, I got to get going. The dog needs to park. So,
okay.
Have a great show next week, and I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And
all right, Roger.
I'll miss you guys. I really do, even though I'm on vacation. If I have a signal, I'll come in the chat and say hi, but probably only be about, for a few minutes. But otherwise, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And the chat, you guys are awesome tonight. Awesome topic, Bub. I give you 100% points for tonight's topic. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Give us your sign off.
Everybody knows the score. Be blessed and be back in 2 weeks for me and 1 week for them. Bye.
Thank you. And we'll sign off too. I don't have much going. Well, actually, I do have quite a bit going on this week or in the coming weeks. This Friday, I think I'm going to be on The Hunt with Tony Sanders. And that's the wrestling type one, right?
Yeah.
You have to have like a wrestling persona. So I'm going to be Bub the Beast in honor of Hialeah Comic Bro, who calls me the Beast all the time. So I appreciate that. So I'm going to be Bub the Beast, and it'll probably be the first maybe cameo appearance of Mrs. Bub, and she'll be as Jungle Beauty. So it'll be Bub the Beast and Jungle Beauty.
Does she know about this yet?
Yes.
Is she aware of it yet?
She's aware. She's aware. Other than the stress of wardrobe selection, I think she's taking it pretty well. She's kind of looking forward to it. As long as everyone plays nice and everybody has a good time, I think it should be all right. She's not quite sure how much she's going to show of herself. Maybe all, maybe some. I don't know. Could be just a hand,
Yeah.
We don't know we don't know exactly how shy she'll be. But
is that on Friday night?
I'll be on Friday on Tony Sanders' channel.
I always miss that show because I always have to work on Friday nights, and I always have to watch those on the replay, and it's not the same because I always go to type in, and I'm like, oh crap, this is a replay. I can't. I do that all the time. I put my hands on the keyboard to enter the chat, and I realize it's a replay. It doesn't. I try to catch up on a lot of these replays, but I'll tell you, when you work the end of the week into what other people's actual weekends are, and then when you get a day off on Monday and you go on YouTube for your subscriptions, there's like 3,980 missed, and you just can't keep up on them. So, I miss a lot of those Hunt, but I try to catch some of them. But that's a cool show. You'll have fun on there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to have fun on that. And then I'm going to be on Comigories, Matt Boy Who Had Seven show, where he's doing kind of a category list competition.
Yeah, I want to be on that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be on that on the 11th, I think. Is that when you're gonna be on there?
Well, I haven't been formally invited, but that's on Friday night too. But it's a little later, I think, right? Maybe?
Yeah, it's a little later, and that's a couple weeks from now. So I'll talk about that closer to time.
Yeah, I watched some of those. That's real cool. They always have categories where I'm like, damn it, I wish I was on there. He did one of the skull covers, and I'm like, oh my god, I would be killing it with skull covers right now.
Yeah, that's big fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
Other than that, I've got books to show and comic hauls to put out. Thinking of slowing down to maybe 1 per week, as opposed to 3 per week, is what I've been doing, and see how that goes. So, gonna film them, but probably not gonna show them, but 1 per week. And because I figure that plus this, and if I'm gonna be on a few live shows, that's as much Bubs as anyone needs. So.
Well, I can't keep up. I don't need a daily or semi-daily dose of Bub, but I'll take a weekly dose of Bub.
I appreciate that. I'm sure there's several people who could do with less, so I thank you.
No, I like your videos are good. They're good production quality, and I love the intros you have. Especially the movie.
Be getting a few more intros done soon, so I'm excited about that, and just trying to think of exactly what I want and go from there. So,
cool.
All right, well, and that's all I got. So go ahead if you want to say your sign off, and then we'll lock her down.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for being here again. Good chat. And make sure you all do your homework, and we will see you next week.
Thank you. And this is BUB'S Comics signing off and saying, everybody read a comic, and we'll catch you next week on BUB'S Comics No Faces Comic Chat. We're all can't wait to see you again. So see you then. Thanks. Have a good night.